Hey, welcome back to the What's Cooking Show. We're with the great brothers here today from Ruffino's in Baton Rouge, Gino and Peter, and they have some more wonderful dishes going for us today. Guys, what's next?
Well, so Gino made the sauce for the shrimp and grits. Now, I'm going to make the grits, but we're going to make them Italian style, and we're going to use polenta. So what I have in my pot here is a little chicken stock, and we're going to add some heavy cream to it. So we're just going to let that come back to a boil. Now, I don't know if they eat a lot of polenta around this part, but it's really easy, and it's just like grits. It's going to use some cornmeal, and we're just going to blend that into the chicken stock and cream, just like you would make regular grits. But then we're going to add a secret ingredient. In fact, I learned this from a demo that one of these celebrity chefs out in California showed me. His name's Michael Chiarello, and we're going to add some semolina along with the cornmeal. So semolina is that flour that they use to make pasta, but it's going to make it really smooth and creamy, and it makes just a wonderful dish. Yeah. So a lot of times what people like to ask me is about how Ruffino's got started. So we're 14 years old, and actually we got started by a kind of famous restaurateur in Baton Rouge. His name's T.J. Moran. He had Ruth's Chris. He had about 10 Ruth's Chris, T.J. Ribs, and Ninfa's in Baton Rouge. And his son Burke, who was running T.J. Ribs at the time 14 years ago, when Jerry DiNardo was coaching LSU, was like, Dad, we ought to do an Italian restaurant. Maybe Jerry DiNardo will partner with us, and that's what they did. So they hired myself as a New Orleans Italian chef, and they hired Ruffin Rodrigue, who played football for LSU along with his dad, who played football there as well, hired us to run the restaurant. Well, it's no secret that after a couple of years, Jerry wasn't winning so many games. And when Jerry finally left, Ruffin and I were able to buy his portion. And then we changed the name to Ruffino's, kind of after Ruffin's name. So
that's basically how the name
came from. And then just recently, about 2.5 years ago, Ruffin and I were able to buy it from TJ. So now he and I own it together.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
So we've got the cream and the chicken stock here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this cornmeal, and we're going to go ahead and just blend it in to our heavy cream, just a little bit at a time. And then in just a second, that's going to start to thicken up really nicely. And then we're also going to take an equal amount of semolina flour, and we're going to go ahead and blend that in as well.
Now, what's the difference between semolina flour and, let's say, just regular flour?
Well, it's the way that it's ground. It's kind of made from a different sort of wheat. It's a hard durum wheat, but it's ground pretty fine, but not like powdery fine. But it's great when we make fresh pasta at the restaurant. This is what we use, or we'll use a blend of semolina and regular flour.
It's kind of like a cream meal grind, basically, I would say.
Right. Cream meal. That's neat.
And so that'll come up and begin to thicken in just a second.
It's thickening now.
Yeah, it's thickening already.
It will, and that's, we like to say, when it looks like lava, that's how you know it's getting ready, because when it thickens, it starts to thicken really quickly. And now there's different kinds of polenta. So if you add a little bit less stock and cream, you can make this nice thick polenta that you could put out on a baking sheet and then even cut into shapes.
Refrigerate it and cut it.
And then you can kind of fry it and make little polenta cakes. But we want something creamier. So we add a little bit more stock to this. So you can see it's nice and creamy and thick. Will you turn me down just a little bit? So now we're going to add a couple of different kinds of cheese. So here I have some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, which to me is sort of the king of Italian cheeses. And we've got some Fontina. It's a great melting cheese. It's you can grate it, and it'll go in here and melt really well. To flavor this, we have a little bit of nutmeg. That's kind of traditional for polenta. We've got a little bit of white pepper, just because the black pepper would kind of leave little specks in here. Then we're going to add a touch of salt.
The good salt.
The good salt, my Malden salt. And then what I like to finish this with, so a lot of times now you could add a piece of butter to this and finish it with butter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some mascarpone cheese. So mascarpone is the Italians' answer to cream cheese. So really good. You can actually turn it off for me now. And we're just going to blend that mascarpone in. So now we have this nice, rich, creamy polenta. And now it will thicken even more upon standing, just like regular grits do.
Right, definitely.
But you can see how smooth it is, and wait till you try it. It's I know this sounds kind of funny, but it's less gritty than regular grits are, and that's what I really like about it. And this is going to be a great way to sop up this wonderful sauce that Gino has. So we're going to add a little bit of the grits here, and like I said, it's going to really smooth and creamy, and it's going to thicken a little bit as it cools off. And then Gino can finish the rest of the sauce.
Dudes, I'm just going to go ahead and layer some shrimp across it. Try to get a little bit of that tasso.
And you know, that tasso cream sauce with shrimp, it's just kind of so classic, those flavors.
It does, yeah.
I do a shrimp and tasso cream sauce myself.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty shrimp.
Beautiful dish. Yeah, really beautiful. In fact, if you want to copy this recipe that Gino and Peter are doing for us today, you can go to our website at kdcg.com and click on the What's Cooking show and go to the recipe archives.
You can go to archives and check it out. I think Gino has a few other recipes.
Also, it's to be shown on YouTube. Sooner or later, they'll put everything on YouTube and stuff. And if you want to get a hold of the guys over there in Baton Rouge, what's the number, guys?
It's 225-753-3458.
Or you can come by at what location?
We're at 18811 Highland Road. So we're in Baton Rouge between I-10 and Airline Highway, close to Blue Bayou Water Park, which kind of a landmark everybody sees on the
Everybody
I-10.
knows where that's at.
Yeah, everybody knows where that. So if you want a wonderful Italian meal at night or Sunday brunch, whatever, you can go by and see the guys over there, and they'll be glad to take very good care of you. And we want to ask you all to join us back for the last segment of What's Cooking in just a few minutes.